What if I told you that one ordinary night, in the quiet hum of a hospital's night shift, a young nurse's life was flipped upside down by a single encounter with a billionaire patient? Picture this. It's 2 a.m., the fluorescent lights are buzzing, and she's just trying to make it through another grueling shift. Then, out of nowhere, a man with more money than most people could dream of walks into her world and changes everything. What did he say to her? What secret did he share that left her questioning her entire life? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to find out exactly how this one moment spiraled into a life-altering journey, and I promise, it's going to blow your mind. This isn't just another story. It's a roller coaster of emotions, mystery, and human connection that'll have you hooked until the very last second. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive into this incredible tale together, because you're not going to want to miss a single detail. Now, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had one of those moments where you felt like your life could change in an instant? Maybe it was a random conversation, a chance meeting, or just a gut feeling that something big was coming. That's exactly where our story begins, with Emily, a 27-year-old nurse who's been grinding through night shifts at St. Mary's Hospital in Chicago. She's like so many of us, working hard, chasing dreams, but barely keeping her head above water. She's got student loans piling up, a tiny apartment that's more cluttered than cozy, and a heart full of hope that someday, somehow, things will get better. Emily's not looking for a fairy tale. She's just trying to survive. But deep down, like all of us, she's got that little spark of curiosity, that whisper in her mind that wonders, what if something extraordinary is waiting for me? You know that feeling, don't you? It's what keeps us going, what makes us click on videos like this one, hoping to be inspired, to feel something real. And trust me, Emily's story is going to hit you right in the feels, because it's not just about her. It's about all of us who've ever dared to dream bigger than our circumstances. Let's set the scene. It's a chilly October night in 2024, and the hospital is quieter than usual. The kind of quiet that makes every creak of a door or beep of a monitor feel like it's echoing in your soul. Emily's been on her feet for 9 hours straight, checking vitals, refilling IVs, and offering smiles to patients who are too tired or scared to smile back. She's good at her job. Great, even, but it's exhausting. You ever feel like you're pouring everything you've got into something, but it's still not enough? That's Emily's world. She loves helping people, but the long hours, the emotional weight, and the constant pressure are starting to wear her down. She's got this one coworker, Sarah, who's always cracking jokes to keep the mood light, and they've got this unspoken bond, like sisters who've seen each other through the worst shifts. Sarah's the kind of person who'd sneak Emily a coffee from the break room and whisper, "We got this, girl." But tonight, even Sarah's usual energy is fading. The hospital feels like it's holding its breath, like something's about to happen. And that's when he walks in, the billionaire patient who's about to turn Emily's world upside down. I know what you're thinking. A billionaire in a regular hospital? What's the deal? Is he hiding something? Is he sick? Or is there more to it? Hold on, because I'm not going to spoil it just yet. Let's just say this guy, Mr. Alexander Kane, isn't your typical rich dude. He's not flashing Rolexes or demanding VIP treatment. He's quiet, almost too quiet, with eyes that seem to see right through you. He's got this aura, like he's carrying a secret so big it could change lives. When Emily gets assigned to his room, she doesn't think much of it at first. Just another patient, right? But there's something about the way he looks at her, the way he says her name, that makes her heart skip a beat. It's not romantic, not yet, anyway, but it's intense, like he knows something she doesn't. And here's where things get juicy. In the middle of a routine check, he leans in and says something to her. Something so unexpected, so wild, that it stops her dead in her tracks. What was it? Why her? And how does it tie into a mystery that's been buried for years? You're dying to know, aren't you? Good. Because that's exactly why you're going to watch this whole video. I'm not just telling you a story. I'm inviting you into Emily's world, and trust me, you're going to want to stay. Let's talk about why this matters to you. You clicked on this video because you love stories that make you feel alive, stories that remind you life can be unpredictable, beautiful, and downright crazy. You're here for the drama, the twists, the moments that make you gasp and say, "No way!" Emily's story is all of that and more. It's about what happens when an ordinary person gets pulled into an extraordinary situation. It's about the choices we make when the stakes are high, the dreams we chase even when the odds are stacked against us, and the connections we form that change who we are. You're going to see Emily wrestle with doubt, fear and hope, just like you do in your own life. You're going to meet characters who'll stick with you. Sarah, with her quick wit and fierce loyalty. Mr. Kane, with his cryptic words and hidden agenda, and maybe even a few others who'll surprise you. This isn't just a story about a nurse and a billionaire. It's about trust, ambition, and the courage to step into the unknown. And I know you're curious. Curious about what Kane said, curious about what happens next, curious about how one night could rewrite someone's future. That curiosity is your ticket to this journey, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Here's my promise to you. By the end of this video, you're going to get answers. Not just bits and pieces, but the full jaw-dropping truth about what went down that night and how it changed Emily's life forever. But I'm not going to make it easy. I'm going to keep you guessing, keep you on the edge of your seat, because that's what makes a story worth watching. You're not just a viewer. You're part of this. You're in Emily's shoes, feeling her confusion, her excitement, her fear. You're rooting for her, wondering what you'd do if you were in her place. And let me tell you, this story is packed with twists you won't see coming. There's a reason this video is trending, a reason people are talking about it in the comments, sharing it with their friends, and hitting that like button. It's because this isn't just entertainment. It's an experience. So, don't you dare click away. Don't pause. Don't skip ahead. Stay with me, because we're just getting started, and the best is yet to come. Let's circle back to that night in the hospital. Emily's standing in Mr. Kane's room, her clipboard in hand, her pulse racing. He's just said something that makes her question everything she thought she knew about her life, her job, maybe even herself. The air feels thick, like the world's holding its breath. She wants to ask him what he means, but before she can, an alarm blares from another room. Duty calls, and she's pulled away, her mind spinning. Who is this guy? Why does he seem to know her? And what does his cryptic message have to do with a secret that's been hidden for decades? As she rushes down the hallway, her sneakers squeaking on the linoleum, one thought keeps pounding in her head. This isn't over. Whatever just happened, it's only the beginning. And you, my friend, are about to find out what happens next, but not yet. Because right now, at this very moment, Emily's standing at the edge of a mystery that could either make her dreams come true or tear her world apart. What's it going to be? You'll have to keep watching to find out. As Emily races down the hospital corridor, the blaring alarm from room 312 cuts through the fog of her thoughts like a knife. Her heart's pounding, not just from the urgency of the moment but from the weight of what Mr. Alexander Kane just whispered to her. His words, cryptic, heavy, and laced with a strange kind of certainty, echo in her mind, but there's no time to process them. She's a nurse, and right now, her instincts kick in. She pushes through the door to find an elderly patient, Mrs. Carter, struggling to breathe, her frail hands clutching the bedsheets. Emily's hands move on autopilot, adjusting the oxygen mask, checking the monitor, calling for backup. But even as she works, her mind is elsewhere, replaying Kane's voice, his piercing gaze, the way he said her name like it meant something more than just a name tag. Who is this man? And why does it feel like he's unlocked a door she didn't even know was there? You're probably wondering the same thing, aren't you? What could a billionaire possibly say to a nurse that would shake her to her core? Stick with me, because this story's about to get even wilder, and I promise, every twist is going to pull you deeper into Emily's world. A world where secrets, ambition, and destiny collide in ways you won't believe. Let's take a step back and get to know Emily a little better. Because she's not just some random nurse caught in a crazy moment. She's someone you'd probably vibe with if you met her at a coffee shop. Born and raised in a small Illinois town, Emily grew up with big dreams but a small bank account. Her mom was a single parent, working 2 jobs to keep the lights on, and Emily learned early on that nothing comes easy. She was the kid who stayed up late studying by flashlight, determined to make something of herself. Nursing school was her ticket out, but it came with a mountain of debt and a reality check. The job is rewarding, but it's also relentless. You ever feel like you're running on a treadmill that just won't stop? That's Emily's life. She's got this quiet strength though, the kind that comes from years of pushing through hard days with a smile. But lately, that smile's been harder to muster. She's been questioning if this is all there is. Endless shifts, aching feet, and a nagging feeling that she's meant for something more. And then, out of nowhere, Mr. Kane walks into her life, dropping a bombshell that makes her wonder if the universe is finally answering her prayers, or setting her up for a fall. You're feeling that suspense, right? That itch to know what's next? Good, because this is where things start to get juicy. Now let's talk about Alexander Kane, because this guy is a puzzle wrapped in a mystery. He's not your typical billionaire, all flash and arrogance. At 52, he's built an empire in tech and real estate, but you wouldn't know it from looking at him. No tailored suits, no entourage. Just a man in a plain gray sweater, lying in a hospital bed. His face lined with something heavier than illness. Pain. Regret. You can't quite tell. The hospital staff are buzzing about him though. Sarah, Emily's co-worker, overheard a doctor mention that Kane checked himself in under an alias, which only fuels the rumors. Is he hiding from someone? Or is he here for a reason nobody's figured out yet? What Emily doesn't know, and what you're about to glimpse, is that Kane's been watching her for longer than she realizes. Not in a creepy way but with a purpose. There's a connection between them, buried in the past, tied to a decision made years ago that changed the course of both their lives. What is it? I'm not spilling that just yet, but let's just say it involves a promise, a betrayal, and a secret so big it could rewrite everything Emily thinks she knows about her family. You're hooked, aren't you? You want to know what Kane's hiding, and I'm going to get you there, but we've got to peel back the layers first. Meanwhile, there's another thread weaving through this story, and it's happening just outside Emily's line of sight. Sarah, her ride-or-die co-worker, isn't just comic relief. She's got her own struggles, and they're about to tangle with Emily's in ways neither of them expects. Sarah's been at St. Mary's for a decade, and she's seen things she doesn't talk about, even with Emily. There was an incident a few years back, something involving a patient and a cover-up, that left her distrustful of the hospital's higher-ups. She's got this theory that the administration is hiding something, maybe even connected to why Kane's here. Sarah's not one to let things go, and when she catches a glimpse of a strange file on the head nurse's desk, a file with Kane's alias and a cryptic note about Project E, her radar goes off. Is it a coincidence? Or is there a bigger game at play? Sarah's digging could put her in danger, but it might also be the key to unlocking what Kane's really after. You see where this is going, don't you? This isn't just Emily's story anymore. It's a web of secrets, and every thread you pull reveals another layer of intrigue. You're not just watching a drama. You're living it, feeling the tension build with every passing minute. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about the hospital itself, because St. Mary's is practically a character in this saga. It's one of those old buildings, all creaky floors and faded paint, but it's got a reputation for cutting-edge care. It's also got a history. Whispers of scandals, unexplained disappearances, and rumors of experiments that went too far. You know how places like that feel, right? Like the walls are holding secrets they're dying to spill. Emily's always brushed off the ghost stories, but tonight, with Kane's words ringing in her ears, she's starting to wonder if there's truth to them. There's a moment, just after she stabilizes Mrs. Carter, when she's walking back to Kane's room. The hallway's dark, the lights flickering, and she swears she hears footsteps behind her. She turns but no one's there. Just her imagination, or something else. It's the kind of moment that makes your skin crawl, the kind that keeps you glued to this video because you know something's coming. You're right there with Emily, feeling that mix of fear and curiosity, wondering if she's about to stumble into something she can't unsee. And trust me, you're going to want to see what happens next. Here's where we crank up the stakes. Back in Kane's room, Emily finds him sitting up, staring out the window at the Chicago skyline. The city's lights glitter like a promise, but his expression is anything but hopeful. He doesn't say much at first, just watches her as she checks his chart. Then, out of the blue, he asks her a question that stops her cold. Do you ever think about the life you could have had? It's not just the words, it's the way he says them, like he knows something about her dreams, her regrets, her what-ifs. Emily's thrown, but she's not one to back down. She asks him what he meant earlier, what he was trying to tell her. He smiles, but it's not warm. It's the kind of smile that says he's playing a game she doesn't know the rules to. He tells her she'll understand soon, but only if she's willing to take a leap. A leap into what? He won't say. Instead, he hands her a small folded piece of paper with an address scribbled on it. Go there tomorrow, he says. You'll find the first piece of the puzzle. And just like that, the alarm in another room goes off, pulling her away again. As she leaves, she glances back, and Kane's watching her, his eyes burning with something she can't name. What's at that address? Why is he trusting her with this? And what does it have to do with the secret he's guarding? You're dying to know, aren't you? Don't click away, because this story's about to take a turn that'll leave you speechless. As Emily clutches the folded piece of paper with the mysterious address, her mind is a whirlwind of questions, each one sharper than the last. The hospital's chaos doesn't let up. Another alarm, another patient, another crisis. But that scrap of paper feels like it's burning a hole in her pocket. She's back in the rhythm of her shift, checking vitals and dodging stretchers, but Alexander Kane's words keep looping in her head. You'll find the first piece of the puzzle. What puzzle? Why her? And why does it feel like every step she takes is pulling her deeper into something she's not sure she's ready for? You're right there with her, aren't you? That mix of curiosity and dread, that itch to know what's waiting at that address. It's got you hooked, and I'm not letting you go just yet. This story's about to take a turn you won't see coming. A twist that'll make your jaw drop and keep you glued to this video. So, settle in, because Emily's night is about to get a whole lot crazier, and the stakes are higher than ever. Let's dive back into the hospital, where the air feels thicker, like the building itself is holding its breath. Emily's shift is supposed to end at 7 a.m., but it's barely 4, and she's already exhausted. She hasn't had a chance to talk to Sarah about Kane or the address, and that's eating at her. Sarah's been her rock, the one who always knows how to cut through the noise with a laugh or a knowing look. But when Emily finally spots her in the break room, Sarah's not herself. She's hunched over her phone, her usual spark dimmed, her fingers tapping nervously. Emily slides into the chair across from her, ready to spill everything about Kane, but Sarah beats her to it. You need to stay away from that guy in 204, she says, her voice low, her eyes darting to the door. Room 204, that's Kane's room. Emily's stomach twists. Sarah's not one to get spooked easily, so what's got her so rattled? Turns out, Sarah's been digging into that file she saw on the head nurse's desk, the one labeled Project E. She found something, a name, a date, and a reference to a subject that sounds way too close to Emily for comfort. Is it a coincidence, or is Emily somehow tied to whatever Kane's involved in? You're feeling that chill, right? That moment when you realize the puzzle's bigger than you thought? Hold on, because this is just the beginning of the storm. Now, here's where things get wild. Emily's about to press Sarah for more details when the break room door swings open, and Dr. Ellis, the hospital's chief of staff, steps in. He's not supposed to be here. Not at this hour, not on the night shift. Dr. Ellis is all polished suits and forced smiles, the kind of guy who makes you feel like he's always one step ahead. He glances at Emily and Sarah, his eyes lingering just a second too long, and says he's doing a routine check. But there's nothing routine about the way he's watching them, or the fact that he's carrying a tablet with a lock screen that looks suspiciously like the hospital's secure database. Emily's gut screams that something's off, and when he leaves, she notices Sarah's hands are shaking. Sarah whispers that she saw Dr. Ellis with Kane earlier, talking in hushed tones outside room 204. Were they arguing? Planning something? And why does it feel like Emily's caught in the middle of it? You're probably thinking what I'm thinking. This isn't just about a billionaire with a secret anymore. There's a bigger game at play, and Emily's not just a player. She might be the prize. You're dying to know what's going on, aren't you? Don't even think about clicking away, because the twist I'm about to drop is going to change everything. Here comes the curveball. Emily decides she can't wait until her shift ends to start unraveling this mystery. She's got a 15-minute break, and that address Kane gave her is only a few blocks away. An old warehouse in a sketchy part of Chicago that's been abandoned for years. Against her better judgment, she slips out of the hospital, telling Sarah she'll be right back. The night air is sharp, cutting through her scrubs as she hurries down the street, the city's pulse thrumming around her. When she reaches the warehouse, it's even creepier than she imagined. Rusted doors, broken windows, and a vibe that screams, "Turn back now." But Emily's not the type to run from a challenge, and that curiosity you're feeling? It's driving her too. She finds a side entrance, pries it open, and steps inside. The place is a maze of crates and shadows, but there's a faint glow coming from the far end. As she gets closer, she sees it, a small locked box with her initials carved into the lid. Her initials. How is that possible? Her hands tremble as she reaches for it, but before she can touch it, a voice cuts through the darkness. Not Kane's, not Dr. Ellis's, but a woman's low and commanding. "You shouldn't be here, Emily." She spins around, but there's no one there. Just the echo of the voice and the pounding of her own heart. Who was that? How do they know her name? And what's in that box that's got everyone so on edge? You're freaking out right now, aren't you? Good, because this is where the story kicks into overdrive. Let's weave in Sarah's subplot, because it's about to collide with Emily's in a big way. Back at the hospital, Sarah's not sitting idle. She's convinced that Project E is tied to something shady, and she's not about to let her best friend get caught in the crossfire. Using her access to the hospital system, access she's not technically supposed to have, she pulls up more on that file. What she finds makes her blood run cold. Project E isn't just a code name. It's a decades-old initiative tied to genetic research, funded by none other than Alexander Kane's company. The file mentions a key subject born in 1997, the same year as Emily. Sarah's no conspiracy theorist, but this is too much to ignore. She tries texting Emily, but Emily's phone is off, buried in her locker while she's at the warehouse. Sarah's panic is rising, and when she overhears Dr. Ellis on a call, mentioning the girl and containment, she knows she's in over her head. Should she go to the police? Confront Ellis? Or track down Emily before it's too late? You can feel the tension building, can't you? That sense that everything's about to explode? You're not just watching a story, you're living it, every pulse-pounding moment pulling you closer to the edge. The stakes are sky-high now, but let's not forget the human side of this. Emily's not a superhero. She's just a woman trying to make sense of a world that's suddenly unrecognizable. As she stands in that warehouse, staring at that box with her initials, she's thinking about her mom, her childhood, the sacrifices she's made to get here. She's wondering if this is her chance to break free from the grind, to finally live the life she's dreamed of, or if it's a trap that'll destroy everything she's worked for. Back at the hospital, Sarah's fighting her own battle, torn between loyalty to Emily and the fear of what she's uncovered. Even Kane, with all his money and power, seems haunted by something. Regret, maybe, or a promise he couldn't keep. These aren't just characters. They're people like you and me, caught in a web of secrets and choices. You're invested in them, aren't you? You want to know if Emily opens that box, what Sarah does next, and what Kane's really after. I'm not going to give you those answers yet, but I promise they're coming. For now, Emily's alone in that warehouse, the woman's voice still ringing in her ears, and the box in front of her feels like it holds the key to everything, or the end of it all. What's she going to do? You'll have to keep watching to find out, because this story's nowhere near done, and the next twist is going to blow your mind. Emily's breath catches as she stares at the locked box in the dimly lit warehouse, her initials carved into the lid like a taunt from the universe. The woman's voice, sharp, commanding and now silent, still echoes in her mind, but there's no one here, just shadows and the weight of a decision she's not sure she's ready to make. Her fingers hover over the box, trembling, as she wrestles with the urge to open it and the fear of what it might unleash. This is it, the moment you've been waiting for, isn't it? The climax of Emily's journey, where all the secrets, whispers, and mysteries collide. You've been with her through every twist, every heart-pounding step, and now you're about to see how it all comes together. This isn't just a story, it's a roller coaster of emotions, and I promise, the resolution is going to hit you hard, with a final twist that'll leave you speechless. So don't even think about clicking away. Grab a seat, because Emily's world is about to unravel, and you're not going to believe where this ends. The warehouse feels like it's closing in as Emily kneels beside the box, her mind racing. She's thinking about Kane's cryptic words, Sarah's warnings, and that file labeled Project E that seems to know too much about her. She's just a nurse, right? A regular person with bills to pay and dreams she's barely dared to chase. But this box, this moment, feels like it's been waiting for her all along. She notices a small key taped to the underside of the box, almost too easy to find, like someone wanted her to open it. Her hands shake as she fits the key into the lock, and with a soft click, the lid pops open. Inside, there's no gold, no jewels, just a stack of documents, a faded photograph, and a USB drive. The photograph stops her cold. It's her as a baby, held by a woman who's not her mother, standing next to a younger Alexander Kane. Her heart pounds as she flips through the documents. Medical records, genetic profiles, and a letter addressed to her, written in Kane's handwriting. The words blur as she reads. You were never an accident, Emily. You were the key. The key to what? You're feeling that shock, aren't you? That moment when the pieces start to fall into place, but the picture's still not clear. Hold on, because this is where the truth starts to spill. Back at the hospital, Sarah's in a panic. She's pieced together enough of Project E to know it's not just a research study. It's a decades-long experiment funded by Kane's company, designed to create a genetic, perfect match for organ regeneration. The key subject, born in 1997? That's Emily, created through a secret program her mother never knew she was part of. Sarah's hands are sweaty as she hacks deeper into the hospital's database, her heart sinking as she realizes Dr. Ellis isn't just involved. He's been orchestrating the cover-up, ensuring Emily stayed under the radar until Kane was ready. Ready for what? Sarah's about to find out, but not before Dr. Ellis catches her. He's standing in the doorway of the records room, his face a mask of calm that's more terrifying than anger. "You're in over your head, Sarah," he says, stepping closer. But Sarah's not backing down. She's got Emily's back, and she's got a flash drive of her own, filled with evidence she's ready to leak if Ellis makes a move. You can feel the tension, right? Two worlds, Emily's and Sarah's, barreling toward a collision, and neither of them knows how close they are to the truth. In the warehouse, Emily's reading Kane's letter, and it's like a bomb going off in her chest. He explains that she was engineered to be a genetic match for him, a living donor to save his life from a rare disease that's been killing him for years. But it's not just about him. Project E was meant to revolutionize medicine, to create perfect donors for the elite, and Emily was the prototype. Her mother, struggling and desperate, had signed up for what she thought was a fertility trial, never knowing her daughter would be part of a billionaire's plan. Kane's letter says he's sorry, that he's spent years trying to make it right, but there's a catch. He's not asking for her help. He's giving her a choice: walk away, live her life, or use the USB drive to expose Project E and bring down everyone involved, including him. Emily's head is spinning. She's not just a nurse. She's a pawn in a game she never agreed to play. But before she can process it, the warehouse door slams open, and there's Kane himself, pale and unsteady, flanked by the woman whose voice Emily heard earlier. It's Dr. Lena Marquez, Kane's former partner in Project E, and she's not here to help. She's here to make sure Emily never leaves with that USB drive. You're on the edge of your seat, aren't you? This is the climax, the moment where everything hangs in the balance. The confrontation is electric. Marquez is all cold calculation, telling Emily she's too small to take on a machine this big. "You think you can expose us? You'll be buried before you hit send," she sneers, pulling a gun from her coat. But Kane steps between them, his voice weak but firm. "It's over, Lena. She deserves to choose." Emily's frozen, the USB drive in her hand, her eyes darting between Kane's regretful gaze and Marquez's icy stare. She's thinking about her mom, Sarah, the patient she's fought for, and the life she's always wanted. This is her moment, her chance to rewrite the story. She bolts, dodging Marquez's lunge, and sprints for the door, the documents stuffed in her scrubs. Marquez fires, the shot grazing Emily's arm, but she doesn't stop. She's out in the street, blood seeping through her sleeve, the city's lights blurring as she runs back to the hospital. You're cheering for her, right? You want her to make it, to fight back, to win. And she's not alone. Sarah's waiting, ready to help her blow this wide open. Back at St. Mary's, Emily bursts through the doors, finding Sarah in the break room. They lock themselves in, uploading the USB's contents to a secure server Sarah's been using to store her evidence. The files are damning, proof of Project E, names of the elite who funded it, and records of others like Emily who never knew they were part of it. As the upload ticks toward completion, Dr. Ellis pounds on the door, but it's too late. Sarah hits send, leaking everything to a journalist friend who's been sniffing around the hospital for years. The story breaks online within hours, trending on X with hashtags like #ProjectE and #HospitalScandal. Kane, weakened but alive, turns himself in, confessing to his role but protecting Emily's identity. Marquez vanishes, a ghost in the wind, but the damage is done. Emily's not just a nurse anymore. She's a whistleblower, a hero, and a woman who's finally free to define her own future. You're feeling that rush, aren't you? The satisfaction of justice, the thrill of a fight won. But I promised you a twist, and here it comes. As Emily and Sarah watch the news explode, Emily's phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. It's a single line: "You're not the only one." Her blood runs cold. The photograph from the box flashes in her mind. Her as a baby, with Kane and that woman who wasn't her mom. What if she's not the only key? What if there are others out there, engineered like her, waiting to be found? The realization hits her like a freight train. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of something even bigger. She looks at Sarah, who's already pulling up new files, her eyes gleaming with determination. They're in this together, and they're not stopping now. You're stunned, right? That final twist, that hint of a larger fight. It's got you thinking, wondering, maybe even a little obsessed. Emily's story is a reminder that we're all searching for our place, our purpose, and sometimes, the truth is the only way to find it. So what do you think? Are you ready to join Emily and Sarah on their next chapter? Hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe, because this journey's far from over, and I know you're as hooked as I am.